Hey everybody, the Bong is here, and welcome to our ninth installment of Weekly Q&A, also the last installment. So, if you have any other questions, well, you're out of luck because, like I said, I'm not going to be doing anymore due to a lack of interest and lack of variety with some of the questions as of late. Like, there have been some I've had to answer multiple times. What am I going to do for another weekly installment? I haven't decided yet. I'm probably going to have like nothing in the rotation for now, but that could change sometime in the future. So, let's get started. Brew Crew asks, if you like your liver so much, why don't you marry it? Because I have a monogamous relationship with my kidneys. Yeah, I went there, and personally, I don't believe in marrying organs. I mean, they're going to be with you all the time, so why would I need to marry them? They're going to always be with me. Barring any medical conditions, of course, but that's besides the point. The Jennings1001 asks, have you ever smoked cigarettes before anywhere between the ages of 18 years old all the way to your current age? No, I also have a relationship with my lungs. So, when I tried smoking once, and I was like 17 at the time, I didn't like it. So I'm like, well, I know I don't like it, so I don't want to do it anymore. Seriously, smoking is not something you want to start because it's difficult to stop. So, if anything, save your money, save your lungs, don't even try smoking. There are other ways to relieve stress. He also asked, what would you do if a random guy came up to you and tried to fight you when you are going outside? I would probably try to calm that person down. If that doesn't work, I would actually call the police. I would not engage in a fight back because what if the police came and arrested me? Because, sometimes self-defense is not actually a legitimate defense sometimes, especially if the other person tends to have more money than you. I would actually just call the cops, lock the door, and, just hopefully they'll be able to get to that person before anything bad happens. He also asked, can you LP this game called Sonic R that is a racing game for the Sega Saturn? He obviously meant Sega Saturn, but he spelled it wrong. And no, because I don't do Sega Saturn Let's Plays, and I'm not that big on Sonic. In fact, I said I was not that big on Sonic games, and yet he asked if I'm going to LP a Sonic game. That does not make sense. It's just like me admitting I'm a vegetarian. It's like hey, you want to try some ribs? No, I'm a vegetarian. Well, actually, I'm not a vegetarian, but for hypothetical reasons. Maybe in some rare instance I'll do a Sonic game, but it'll probably be a platformer, and that'll be if I had absolutely nothing else to play. If you're wondering why I'm taking this little pause, I'm actually scrolling up because he actually answered a multitude of questions, or asked a multitude of questions, spread out several days, which makes no sense. I mean, personally, I would have just got all my questions out at once, like other people have. But anyways, I'm not here to bash someone. He also asked, have you ever went to a corner store / liquor store and went to the drinks department, and have you seen an energy drink called Rip? If you did, all that, did you grab one of those and try one before? No, I do not like energy drinks at all. I just find their taste very weird. Again, this is an example of a question that I've answered before, and yet is still resurfaced. Maybe that person did not see the previous Q&A, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Because, that can happen. He also asked, what is the shitty game you have LP'd out of these 6 years? I can list a few. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The Lion King. Well, it's not a terrible game. I was just terrible at it. The Karate Kid was a pretty bad game that I finished in only one episode, believe it or not. And that was around the pre-no time limit YouTube days. Like, it took around 9 or 10 minutes to finish that game. That was so weird. And other games that I've done that were very terrible. Oh, there was quite a few. I mean, the Game Gear Mega Man game was actually pretty bad. Because you had this little screen. The music just sounded awful given it came out of the Game Gear, and some of the levels actually had vertical scrolling, so some of the jumps were blind. Especially in Starman stage, I mean, you don't see where you're going. Oh, I landed on spikes that I could not see. So that was a pretty bad port of a Mega Man game that had levels spread out through like Mega Man's 4 and 5. He also asks, have you ever had a dream while you are sleeping, I think he meant while you were sleeping in the bed and everything inside it was weird or very scary? Were you creep out or scared that the creatures tried to walk to you in the dream? Oh, everyone's had dreams that were weird, I just don't remember them that well. I wasn't exactly the best sleeper, so sometimes it feels like 4 or 5 dreams actually get compacted together. Like, there's a dream queue, and when there was finally an opening, they all go in at once. Sometimes it feels like that in my head. He also asks, if you was born as a female instead of a male, are you going to be on YouTube if you was born as a female instead of a male? Probably. It's based on my personality. I wouldn't just, like, hide because I have boobs and whatnot. Even though on the internet sometimes you feel like you have to and you shouldn't. He also asks, will you call your YouTube Let's Player channel? I don't know what I would actually name it because I never thought I would be born as a female. Because I'm not. He also asked, Jesus, this is going to be ongoing. Have you ever sagged your pants before? By that, I mean your pants falling down, and I'm going to be honest with you. I do sag my pants too, but I try not to do that too much, you know. Well, I did not really need to know that, but no, my pants do not sag down unless I don't have a belt on. And he also asked, can you LP Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story for the Nintendo DS? If Ryan Bright gets his 3DS capture card fully tested out to the point he's got a perfect setup, maybe, but I'm not going to rush into it anytime soon. And I'm not even going to try to emulate Bowser's Inside Story because Colonel 112 did that and he ran into a lot of lag, which is something I'd rather avoid. Some people say, well, I don't care, that doesn't matter. Well, it does matter to me. If it's going to be lagging too much, I'm not going to enjoy it. And his last question was, have you ever hugged a pillow before when you were sad? No, because pillows cannot hug back. Well, at least mine doesn't. Alright, so other people. Nicholas Johnson asks, if you could be a Mega Man character, who would you be and why? I'd probably like to be Mega Man because I get to do all the cool stuff. I mean, yeah, I die from spikes instantly, but some people actually do die from spikes too. It happens. Spikes are painful. Like, you don't want to feel the pain. You just want to be down and out and then respawn some point. That'd be a little bit better than feeling constant impaling pain. Adam Valero asks, will you LP any pinball videos games? I don't think he meant to put that S there. But probably not. Well, I did do a Let's Play of Kirby's Pinball World, and it wasn't exactly that great. Or was it Kirby's Pinball Land? I think it was Kirby's Pinball Land. But it wasn't that great of a Let's Play because I actually had to do some cheating to get all the bosses. So yeah. Have you played any LEGO video games? I got LEGO Underworld for the Wii U that I still haven't taken out of the wrapper yet. I still haven't even taken Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD out of the wrapper yet. As for LEGO video games I have played, there was an old PC one that was like first person. You had this map. It was sometime in the 90s I played it. I don't even remember what the name was called. I think it was Lego World. And most of it was actually racing. And there was also Lego Star Wars and Indiana Jones, which I actually played. But I don't think I'd be Let's Playing them. His last question was, will you marry a good-looking ninja or sexy hooker? I'd prefer good-looking ninja, but chances are if she's a really good ninja, we'd probably already get married and I don't know it yet. That's how ninjas work. Big Mac Special Sauce asks, I'm going to miss these Q&As, so here's my final questions. Do you like fireworks? I'm indifferent to them, actually. Apparently he loves to blow things up. Will you ever Let's Play Red Faction? I used to own the GameCube version of Red Faction. I think I gave it away for store credit. Probably because I didn't enjoy it too much. And will you at least stream the Wii U version of Smash Bros? I would if I could properly record the Wii U. And even then, I probably will wait till the hype dies down. Because I know as soon as the Wii U version of Smash Bros. Comes out, people are going to Let's Play it as soon as possible. probably before they even actually played it casually on their own time. So yeah, I'll probably be spoiled at that game. That's why I'm not subscribed to too many people, because I know they're just gonna let's play it right away, and I'll probably know every single thing that happens. Because if everybody's gonna be let's playing it, I'll know the exact game based on thumbnails alone. And what fighter do you like to be in each Smash game? I like to be Yoshi, but now I'm branching out to being Bowser. Like for a heavy character. I've played against a lot of people in Smash Bros, and apparently Greninja is very powerful. As for like a Streets of Rage LP, maybe, but I'm not rushing into it. Patros 2006 asks, do you play Candy Crush? No, I do not. In fact, I think my mom stopped playing Candy Crush as well and is probably moving on to another Facebook-like game. I don't know. James Yoder asks, hey Bonga, what is your thoughts on new Nintendo 3DS? Also, do you have plans on getting one? It's going to be a bit disappointing, in my opinion, that you had to get a new 3DS to actually play like all of the games, or to get more potential out of the games you already have. Like for instance, I see Pokemon X and Y gonna make use of the new 3DS. Smash Bros will probably make use of it. And if you're looking to get Xenoblade Chronicles for the 3DS, you actually have to get a new Nintendo 3DS to get the most out of it. Disappointing, because I mean, that's going to be another couple $100 or so to get a handheld that technically you already have, just a more souped up version. I don't see why they couldn't just like done that first. Then you wouldn't need to buy another one. And I feel for people that are actually able to record Let's Plays off their 3DS, because then they're going to need a new capture card. Unless the 3DS capture card will actually work on the new ones, it's possible that the inner workings might be different. So that's probably going to be an issue for them. Hideo Rishima asks, what do you do for a living? Well, other than Let's Plays, I sadly don't do a lot for a living. I'm still looking for work. Hopefully I'll have something by the time this video is up, or a couple days after, or by the time people are watching it. But there's no guarantees in this day in life in the economy these days. Alright, and he also asks, since you are stopping the Q&A sessions, would you take suggestions for videos like we challenge you for certain parts of some games or cool dog videos? And there's potential for that, like me setting up a challenge for other people to set up, or people will challenge me and say, hey, look, I can do this. Get X amount of points in X amount of minutes, or go this far without dying. It could happen, but I'm not making any guarantees. His final question was, what would you do if you were stuck in a decision about buying things, like if you can only buy one of two things? Well, I'd probably take a lot of time to think about it, like weigh the pros and cons of each one. Like, am I going to enjoy this one more, or am I going to get more time out of the other? Then I would decide which one has the most positives, wait till I get more money in the future, and see if that second thing is still there. But, I'd like to weigh my options very carefully, because I don't want to spend too much money. GoodGamer1994 asks, he has a couple questions actually, which Castlevania game do you think has the best set of abilities? It's a tough go between Aria of Sorrow, Aria Sorrow / Dawn of Sorrow, and probably Harmony of Dissonance, because you're able to use different kinds of weapons based on the book you have equipped. He also asks, if you could go out for dinner with any Robot Master, who would it be? Well, that was a bit of a weird question. But I'd probably go with... that's a tough order. I think I would go... Oh, man. I'm trying to think of what one I could actually go out for dinner with that probably won't nuke me to death. That's a tough one, actually. I want to say Sheepman, but I know I'm not going to get any lamb chops out of it because, he's mostly made out of wool and electric energy. Go for dinner with... I'm going to go with Hornet Man because, if you're going for dessert, if I want to get some honey, Hornet Man will help me out. Just something completely random. Joseph Hofnagel, I don't know if I pronounced your last name right, says, do you like any sports like hockey, basketball, baseball, football? I do enjoy hockey an awful lot, and I'm getting used to watching baseball. Well, I only watch it during the playoffs. Same with football, I watch it like during the playoffs. Basketball, I'm probably indifferent towards. It all depends. I also like soccer when there's like major global tournaments going on, like the World Cup or Euro. I don't follow the Premier Leagues that much at all. Anime Manga Gamer asks, in Super Smash Bros., do you mostly like your matches with relying on pure power or with items on screen? I'm more one for like items on screen because I know that my skill level in just no items at all is not that great compared to certain others that I've played against. And items usually add a lot more variety to the game. It's Smash Bros. It's supposed to be random and zany. Not all about like no items, Fox only, Final Destination, because that's just so dull to me. Also, which of these three matches would you most likely select when playing with friends? I go with stock. Because, then you're just like thinking, well, I pretty much have to be real good. Timed is like you have to be there all the time, and it just puts you there in a very vulnerable spot. Like sometimes you can probably win just by doing nothing if people are going to be self-destructing themselves. And coin battles, I don't really care for at all. He also asks, which items do you find is most helpful in battle? I would go with Pokeballs and assist trophies. Maybe the home run bat as well. As for other items, I want to say the beetle, but it's very hard to like pull off. And I've had some heartbreaking moments where I actually lost because a beetle spawned right next to an AI and they use it right away, and I can't get away from it. It's kind of annoying. And what are your most favorite Final Smash moves in the game? I'd probably go with Diddy Kong's, actually, because I can just like move around and just blast away. Like anything that allows you to get a little bit more control over your offense is really good to me. Nothing that they have to be in the exact right spot or you get nothing out of it. Anything that can cause your opponents to panic to try to get away and probably put themselves in a more precarious position is something I like. Yoshi's is the same thing as well. Jennifer Kunza asks, will you do a James Bond movie review, and what is your favorite Castlevania game? I don't have a favorite Bond movie that I would review because I don't review movies. And my favorite Castlevania game probably be either Aria of Sorrow or Super Castlevania 4. Brandon Riley asks, what made you start emceeing games? I think he means LPing, which is pretty much the same thing. I don't know, I was seeing other people do it, and I figured, why not try it myself? He also asks, what is the least thing that you like about doing that? Probably a lot of work, such as like editing, and then having to think about what games you're going to play. Because there's like so many that I can choose from, and it's hard to decide if people are going to give it a chance or not. Because fan audiences can be a bit fickle. But that's like that with any audience. He also asks, what do you think is the hardest Final Fantasy game? I'd probably go with the first one. Because it's so basic, and there's lots of ways that you can die in it. Given that enemies don't drop a lot of money at first, so you're going to have to balance out, like if you're going to spend all that money in the inn, you're not going to have enough for anything else. Like you want to buy spells for your characters, you want to buy weapons and armor. That means you're going to have to be grinding for so long, and all that money that you made is probably going to have to go towards the inn because you got beat up so much. Especially if you're doing like the NES version of Final Fantasy, where the magic system is completely different. Not to mention, that if you kill an enemy, and your opponent is targeting that enemy, your partner is targeting an enemy that's already been killed, they're going to target nothing. Then you wasted a turn. That means you gotta plan out your moves from there. Paul Province asks, will you be doing anything after these Q&As? Again, I haven't decided that, and I've already touched base on that earlier. Knight asks, well, since the next one is the last one, let's get the remaining questions over with. Were the Bongo your favorite race in Tactics Advance or 12? They kind of were. They were like the race that resonated with me, especially when I was taking on Bagamnon in 12. He and his like allies were a tough battle when you had to battle them in the Sand Sea. Like that, they were an absolute pain in the ass. The second question was, what Kirby powers do you wish they return? I think you already asked that question before. As far as I know, I don't know what I wish they would return because I haven't played too many Kirby games. The wheel was awesome, though. I will say that. And I don't want to say Ninja because Ninja was already always there, same as Hammer and Fighter. His next question was, have game characters ever been smarter than you? Not like where a certain character is actually a genius, but where you thought something, the game character said something else, and were right? To be honest with you, I could not think about that. It's hard to say because it's something I never thought about. His next question was, in Final Fantasy VI Advance where Celeste had to catch fish to save the old man, could you get the useless fish, the seagull, to get rid of them? To be honest, I don't think you could. The seagull was probably you can just like talk to and it would fly away, but you couldn't get rid of the fish, as far as I know. Like I don't think that was ever an option. And his last question was, have you played the Professor Layton series? Well, I played a couple games of Professor Layton, but I've never finished them because some of the puzzles are actually very hard. The Jew22 asks, what are your thoughts on Texas Hold'em? And do you play with your friends as well as at the casino? I played a lot of Texas Hold'em, like, in my college years, and I'm actually quite good. As far as, like, tells, that kind of thing, I don't pay too much attention to that much. I just try to keep a neutral face. And I don't really go to casinos. Clarisan143 asks, in all games you LP'd and fought final bosses and super bosses, which one of them are the hardest and annoying final and super bosses? In terms of like annoying final bosses, I go with YHVH and Shin Megami Tensei 2. Because I remember that one causing me a lot of problems. Same with Satan. Even though Satan wasn't a final boss, it was the second to last boss. In terms of super bosses, I would go with Neo Shinryu and Omega Mark II in Final Fantasy V Advance. They were the most annoying super bosses I'd ever have to face. Do you like watching fighting sports such as MMA, boxing, and such? Well, I like pro wrestling, even though that doesn't really count as a sport. And I used to watch UFC, but now I don't anymore. She also asked, did you try to play Final Fantasy Mega Man X4, Mega Man X5, Mega Man X6, and Dragon Quest VII on the PlayStation 1? I Let's Played X4, X5, and X6, but in terms of the Dragon Quest series, I don't really care that much for. And her last and final question, in your childhood days, did you watch a Sentai series and Kamen Rider series like Kamen Rider Black, Shojin Sentai Jetman, Kamen Rider Black RX, Shodenshi Bioman, Hikari Sentai Maskman? No, when I was a child I never even heard of those. I didn't hear about Kamen Rider or Shojin Sentai Jetman until I was probably in my 20s. But in Sentai series I watched Power Rangers, like the American version. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I didn't watch a lot of Japanese shows. Eddie R. asks, well, he's got two questions. Seems as if you delved into Dynasty Warriors with your Let's Plays, any chance of you Let's Playing Devil Kings, also known as Sengoku Basara? It's basically the Samurai Warriors done through Capcom, and I probably won't. In terms of Samurai Warriors, I might consider Let's Playing because I got the first one and I played like a couple campaigns. His next question was, aside from your dog, whom I've heard jingling her collar in the background sometimes in some of your videos lately, what's your favorite animal? I'd probably go with either a tiger or a dog. I don't know why, I just like those particular animals so much. Vestlins asks, ever immerse yourself in a game where you turn off the music, mute it to listen to the environmental and ambience? No, I've never had an experience where I've actually had to turn the sound off or turn off the music just to listen to the environment. I tend to enjoy the game for what it is. Sometimes I'll just balance it, but I'll never mute it altogether. And if I do, it depends on the game itself. Mostly for Skyrim. Like if I gotta listen to the background noise, or if the dialogue is too low. Mikey Byrne asks, what is your favorite Mega Man game? I'd probably go with Mega Man X2 or Mega Man 3. Colin M112 asks, what is the hardest question you had to answer during these Q&As? There was a lot of them, including this one that you just asked. They're all pretty hard because you gotta think about them. And I tend to just go in these things blind. Prince Watercrest asks, well, I might as well ask this to end the Q&As with a bang. Has anyone really been far even has decided to use or even go want to do more like? How did you word that correctly? Has anyone really been far even as decided to use, even go to do more like? That could have been worded a little bit better. That doesn't seem like much of a bang to me. It doesn't even make sense. It's going to be hard to interpret that kind of question. It's like, am I trying to imitate someone or try to be more like someone? I don't really try to be like anyone. I try to be more like myself. If that's what you mean, I don't know, man. Anyways, I'm going to try not to think about it too much. Darklit Zelda 543 asks, what's your favorite alcoholic or non-alcoholic drink? In terms of alcoholic, I like porn stars, and though I'm actually developing more of a taste for rum and coke nowadays. As for non-alcoholic, I like juice. Yeah, I just like juice, especially like mango orange juice that I've been picking up at a drugstore nearby me now. It's actually pretty good. My sister really loves it as well. Cherry pomegranate was a bit of a miss, and apple was just apple. There was another kind, there was lemonade, but let's face it, lemonade is just too strong for me. She also asked, will you be doing the fishing in Twilight Princess for completionist's sake? Yeah, I will be doing a video for, fishing, but I won't be completing the fishing journal. And her last question is, do you think Flash games will have a place in the future of gaming? Well, if they're done really well, yeah. Certain Flash games actually develop to be full-fledged games, so how can it not happen? They've actually been quite successful, so yeah, Flash games tend to have a good future, as long as they're done well. Matroskawiak asks, if there are any games you wanted to LP or just try out but can't find a copy of it, would you be against borrowing a copy from a fan if anyone offering it? I wouldn't be that far against it. It's only if I can't get it to work on my end, or if a copy is just too expensive. I would be okay with borrowing from a fan or a friend if they got it nearby, and I would just make sure that I get it back to them when I'm done. Also, where would you prefer people to post if they wanted you to try out a game? Well, you can message me on YouTube. I also have a request page on my website that you can find on my channel page, and the link is right there. And I've mentioned it a couple times that they can just post a request there, and I do get emailed whenever I get a response posted to me. And he says I'm a great Let's Player and he respects my work, so thank you for that. Fireman21134 asks, he has a few questions actually. What time do you normally wake up? Is it based on whatever day it is, or do you have a set time on when you wake up? It's based on what day it is, or if I just cannot stay in bed anymore. Also, it doesn't matter when a game is coming out the next day and you just have to get it right away. Well, sometimes I do pre-order my games to get upon launch, like Hyrule Warriors and Smash 3DS that I've gotten upon launch. Pokemon X and Y I've gotten on launch. Any big titles I get on launch. Other times that I'll just wait a while, maybe within a few weeks or a month. He also asked, what Mario game, it could be any of the Mario games there have been, is your most favorite or favorites? Mine would be the Galaxy games and the Mario Kart games. I do enjoy the Galaxy games, but I also enjoy the Mario Party games. even though the later ones been using weird gimmicks. They're just enjoyable with multiple people. Out of all the Mario power-up items there have been, which one or ones would you see yourself using and why? I would probably go with the P-Wing, because I could just fly anywhere. That or the Hammer Bros suit. I really like that one an awful lot as well. What Mario Kart game do you think had the best music? He thinks Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart 7, and Mario Kart 8. I'd probably go with those games as well, actually. DS was forgettable for me. 64 had some really good tracks. Yeah, so I would probably go with those same three as well. Mario Kart Wii had some forgettable tracks as well, in my opinion. And his last question is, what are your favorite places to eat at? I like Montana's. I like this place called the Works Burger, where you get like a whole lot of burger options, and it's not very expensive either. I also like Boston Pizza. They got good food, even though they are a bit pricey. They just got really awesome wings and pizza. And those were actually the last questions. So thank you all for asking so many questions, some more than others. And thank you all for watching. And will I have other stuff coming up on a weekly basis? I haven't decided yet, but anything can change. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.